And welcome to Lens Plus. I am Andrea Coachman, and I'm here to give you a quick overview of our lesson structure. So as you can see here, when you jump into any of the Lens Plus lessons, this is what you'll encounter. The lesson is in its entirety. But then, as you click in, you will see that there are a lot of different chunks. So we're going to basically dig into each one. So the first chunk at the top, you will find where this lesson comes from. So this is an e-lesson. You'll get the title of the lesson, and then you'll get the grade level or grade level band that this lesson is most appropriate for. Then after that, just introduction information, we will move into our learning goal, which will give us what our students need to know and be able to do. So first and foremost, that is going to be aligned to our Texas standards. So you will see the text for each of the grade levels that this lesson is appropriate for. So for this one specifically, you'll see the standards for kinder, first, second, third, fourth, and fifth grade. And then you get a little information about what that standard is, what it entails, outside of just knowing that it's K5C. After the standards, we created a student learning target. So student-friendly language that identifies what it is that we want our students to be able to do. And then in this lesson specifically, but sometimes you'll encounter this at other parts of the lesson, you'll see a note. Obviously, this is outlined by saying the word note, and it is highlighted in yellow. And this is information for you, the teacher, from the teacher, the author of this lesson. So kind of just information for you to consider, marinate on, just, kind of take with you as you navigate this lesson in your classroom. So then back to our main lesson, and we'll move from our learning goal into our assessment. And this is that information that we need, like, okay, we did the lesson, but how do we know our students learned it? So this is the information that you'll need to cover assessment within and beyond this lesson. And then we move into our materials. So what do you need? How are you going to prep for this lesson? What are your students going to need? And you'll see that in all of our material chunks, it's outlined in bullet points. Any and everything that you'll need is included here. Then you'll also note, specific to this lesson, that an anchor chart is needed. And for any anchor chart, we wanted to include an example of what that could look like. So that is linked into the lesson. So when you're in the main lesson, you'll click on that, and it'll take you to an example of the anchor chart. So for this one, we know that this lesson is about how to preview a fiction book, a fiction text. And so this is what the lesson, or what the anchor chart would look like once it's finished. So there's 5 steps that you would take your students through. So then back to our main section, we move. Now we kind of know everything that there is to know about this lesson. And now we move into the actual in-class teaching, the learning plan. So the first thing that we're going to do is set the stage and share the why. So we think that it's super important to make sure our kiddos know why we're doing this lesson. How does it pertain to their learning, not just today, but any day or for any text. And you'll see here that the text is blue and that there are quotation marks around it. Well, the blue is for you. So this is wording that you could consider literally saying word for word in your classroom. Or this is not a script. So if you read it and you have, different language that comes to you that does the same thing, use it. All good. This is just an example of what you could say in your classroom. And then once we set the stage, we move into our I do portion of the lesson, which is our model or our demonstration. So this is where me, the teacher, I am doing the heavy lifting. So I am going to model whatever it is that I'm asking then my students later to do on their own. You'll see as we go through this, here's a little more of that blue text, right? So that blue is for you to consider saying. But then you'll also see in our modeling and demonstration chunk that there's some bolded text. Well, the bolded text are actionable items. So things that you need to physically do as a teacher. So right here, the example, you're gonna read number 2 and 3 on the chart. And obviously if you go back, you already read number 1. And then another piece that you'll encounter within this lesson structure is just regular text. So not bolded, not blue. And the regular text is just a little bit more information. So for us, the blue, things you could say, the bold, things you will want to do. And then the regular text is just text, extra text for you to read, for you to consider. It just builds on to the lesson. So then once we moved from our modeling and demonstration, we're going to go into our guided practice so that we do an opportunity. And here we'll see our students are going to preview work on the second text with their partner. And again, you'll encounter sometimes it'll be bold, sometimes it'll be blue, sometimes it'll just be regular text that will lead you through this chunk of the lesson. And then finally, we encounter the closure. So this is where we're going to wrap it up. We are going to kind of recap what it is that we covered for the day and go from there. So in general, like I said, this is just a quick overview of the lesson structure that you will encounter within Lens+. We are super excited to have you here and can't wait to hear how these lessons are going in your classroom. Thanks so much.